All right, everybody, welcome back to another episode of the Strategy Game Podcast. I'm your host, Lauren Shippey, and today I'm here with Chelsie Lee, the CEO of Chelsie, and we're super excited to have her. Thanks so much for being on.
Yeah, thank you. Very excited.
Yeah, it's been great. Ever since I discovered Chelsie, we've just kind of stayed in touch, and she's been a contributor on the blog, and it's so great just having her, and I'm really excited to talk this out. Because
Yes.
I think everything that you share on the blog is so great. So now it's just awesome to finally connect via audio and share with our listeners just some of your wisdom.
Awesome. Yeah, really excited. It's been so much fun getting to know you and the community throughout. I feel like it's been a couple of years now.
It has. Yeah, I think it's been 2 or 3 years, which is
Yeah.
amazing. So we've got a little library of blogs going. Now we're bringing this over to the podcast. So
Awesome.
tell me how you got to where you are today. Because I always love, we talk a lot about identity-based strategy and why it matters, right? So there's like themes throughout all of our lives. And a lot of times you can look back and see, oh, this makes sense that I'm in the role I'm in, that I'm doing what I'm doing now. So I would just love to hear your personal story about how you got here. And then we'll dive into what Chelsie is.
Perfect. Yeah, well, the way that I see it is looking at conduits throughout your life, and it's much easier to see those conduits after the fact or
Yeah.
connect the dots after, rather than in the current heat of the moment or whatever position or personally, professionally. So my journey really started in corporate retail in buying and planning. So I worked for a retailer in London. Then I worked for Saks corporate in New York, working on buying and planning. And then that led me to technology. And I moved back to Minneapolis, where I'm originally from. EDI is a way that retailers get purchase orders and invoices, and it was always a big pain at Saks. So I decided to get into a very, very technical and operational role with EDI data. And then, from there, really an opportunity came to me. An amazing mentor of mine asked if I was interested in sales. And I remember responding very vividly, something like, I don't know anything about sales, but I know 300 ERPs, or I know all these retail systems. Like, is that helpful?
Yeah.
And so really at that time, I had the opportunity to create a startup within the four walls of a publicly traded company. Definitely really, really naive at the time to the other resources that provides.
Yeah.
And throughout that journey, I learned that after working with over 500 different brands and retailers, there was always two consistencies. One was the dark cloud of Amazon, and the second was that the investment firm or private equity firm likely wasn't speaking the same language as the brand. Drop shipping 8 years ago, for example, wasn't a common thing.
Yeah.
So I saw that gap, and I thought that I could go solve for it by joining something, maybe a retail focused private equity firm, or starting my own consulting. At that time, I called a friend of mine who then asked me to look at a project called Chelsie. And another one of those reflective life moments of why, I haven't come from sales, or I don't know shipping. I know the systems, but I haven't worked for FedEx, or I haven't worked in a warehouse. And so when I dove into the technology, which was originally built for traditional logistics, I saw something very, very different. And about 1,000 people have told me when everyone zigs, you zag. So I think that was kind of consistency or part of the journey in finding it. So when I saw it, I saw the immediate opportunity for on-demand and e-commerce. Then I called just about everyone that I know in my retail network and asked them if you could deliver to your consumers in a couple of hours, not make any major changes to your existing business systems, use your stores as distribution centers, get all the juicy data that comes with it, and by the way, paying for shipping is optional. Would you find value in that?
Yeah.
And it became impossible to find someone who said no. So I jumped in 2 feet first and started raising capital, started dealing with venture for the first time, building a team really for the first time throughout an entire organization. So that's kind of the backstory that I don't even know that you've really heard.
No, I haven't. It's really amazing to hear it. And there's some things that stand out. I mean, just the journey alone is really cool, how that has all weaved together, right? Your background in retail, like you being on that side of things, and then diving into the technology, and now really creating innovative solutions, right, through a gap that you identified. is so fascinating. I mean, so you
Mhm.
saw a gap, you knew that you were going to do something about it, but then you still had that moment where it's like someone asked you to look at this project,
Mhm.
right? And you recognized, hey, this is what I've been looking for, right? That can
Yes.
fill that gap. So that was that moment for you.
Exactly. Those conduits and those connecting moments. And, my retail experience helped me get into even sales because we were making acquisitions within the retail analytics space.
Yeah.
And then knowing that data, or the dorky operational and data heavy role that I had, allowed me to dive into Shipsy enough to see that what it really could be.
Yeah.
Um, and
Amazing.
those conduits, it's so hard when you're in the moment to see what it is. But reflecting back on it, each stepping stone really prepares you for the next.
Okay, so this is something that also came to me that's really, I think a lot of people can struggle with stepping into roles at times of things they have not done. It's not their area of expertise. So throughout
Hmm.
your life, there's been a lot of moments where you did not have the expertise and you stepped into that role. So what do you think it is about you that took the plunge? Like, do you see obstacles? Were you intimidated by that, or were you just like, no, I'll figure it out, I'll create it, I'll get mentors around me? Like, what is your philosophy with that?
It's a balance. It is a art and a science. I would say, from my experience, one of my mentors early on in my career, who ran a big gifting kind of hallmark type business, gave me one of the best pieces of advice that I think of almost on a daily basis, which is jump in 2 feet first. Or her take on it is take down the big dogs first and the rest will follow. And I think about that throughout my day, throughout the week.
Mhm.
Um, and so even in the morning, like tackling your biggest item throughout the day, or that thing that's been nagging and trickling on your to-do list every single day, or the most important thing on your day. So I think it's about taking on the big dogs first and the rest will follow.
Yeah.
And that might be an LOI to prove to investors that you have buy-in from a retailer, and that maybe that's the most important thing.
Yeah.
And the other side of it is, there's a lot of diverse opinions on first time founders versus seasoned founders. Yes, I wish that I would know everything I know today when I started this journey 3 years ago. If I could go back
Yeah.
and know all of those things, that would be amazing. It's just not realistic. I think that first time founders actually are incredibly naive to all the challenges and the complications to it.
Mhm.
And you either break through those brick walls and figure it out, or you don't. And those are the ones that either fail. But I actually believe I was quite fortunate in not knowing how hard it was going to be,
Yeah.
because you just figure it out.
Yeah, that's so true. And I think that naivety, there can be an advantage to that the first time founder,
100%.
right? Because you don't know how hard it is and you don't know
Yeah.
what you don't know. So you're just knocking them out one brick wall at a time. And I remember we have a blog post from you on that. I should link that in the show notes. It's really good. I remember being,
breaking through breaking through brick walls or something. I
yeah,
remember
it was
them.
about that, breaking through those brick
Hmm.
walls. Okay, so
Hmm.
now fast forward, you've got a team, you've got like a large operation here. So tell us about what Shipsy does, because I love the innovation and the process of Shipsy and how it solves a problem. And I'm interested to get
Hmm.
into how this last year it solved a problem even more, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Tell us what Shipsy
Um, So Shipsy provides any brand or retailer the ability to offer on-demand, same day, next day, and scheduled delivery. But we really think about it as a true omni-channel delivery experience for the customer. So Shipsy shows up at checkout online natively next to any other shipping option, and it's based on business rules. So we look at consumer location, inventory availability, driver availability. When those things align, Shipsy delivery appears at checkout, and then we partner with delivery networks, and have access to over 1.2 million drivers in 850 cities
does.
today. So we work with delivery network partners, have them battle out who has the best price, who has the best coverage, look at the size and the weight and dimensions, align the appropriate vehicle with the appropriate type of merchandise, and then consumers get their orders today. So the most simplistic, like our pitch during holiday especially, given the surcharges on traditional shipping methods was, hey, Mr. Retailer, pay more, give it to your customers in 10, 15 days, if at all, this season, or pay less and use Chelsie.
Yeah.
Um,
It's amazing.
so it's, yes,
That's
it's a
incredible.
pretty easy sell, especially given, the new environment that we're in today.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. So this last year, have you just seen how much there's such a need for what you guys are providing? And give me an example of like how this has looked in
Mhm,
this environment over the last year.
mhm. It's been a real challenge. I mean, retail itself is so shaky and has been so turbulent over the last year. A lot of stores closing,
Yeah.
a lot of acquisitions happening. For us, several of our major customers, filed for bankruptcy. Now it's almost, I think of it like COVID. It was really, really difficult immediately when all of the stores shut down, and some of our customers were
Yeah.
filing for bankruptcy. Now, looking on the other side of it, we took that time to expedite basically a 2-year roadmap within about 6 months.
Wow.
And I'll tell you the outcome of that in a minute. But and now long term, a lot of our customers are now owned by larger retail parent holding companies or larger organizations. So immediately it was, stores aren't open, we can't pick up goods, like no one can get anything.
Yeah.
And then now we're seeing the increased demand. There's mixed reviews and mixed studies on the true impact, but
Mhm.
it's basically a double year growth, or 6 years, some claim 6 years of e-com growth expedited into 6 months.
Wow.
So it's really, really been like a can of gas, in a lot of ways on our business long term.
That is wild. So how did it change your business model or grow your business over
Mm-hmm.
time?
Initially, when we started with our first big batch of customers, we were really hands-on in learning what types of things that they needed, or the types of systems, and that led to some customizations with our first big batch of customers. Which, great, we needed them in the beginning, and to give them more handholding. One, so that we ensured it matched and correlated with all of their systems, but from our lens, making sure that we know the parts and the pieces and the nuances that we need to make automated, or that we need to build, or that we need to adjust long term.
Yeah.
So the three biggest impacts on kind of our core product that came out of COVID: one, we have a enterprise API that is basically a drag and drop API builder. Choose your fields, choose the order. On the other side of it, we'll give you an output of the code that you need to implement. Oh, you want to plug it into your item management or warehouse management system? Great.
Nice.
Think of it like a Twilio for delivery,
Yeah.
with retail rules and kind of systems built into it. So that can be customized or just generic out of the box, and they can choose and pick those customizations on their own.
That's great.
And then the second was, we published and launched a Shopify app within the Shopify partner store.
Nice.
So any brand can go sign up, install Shipsy, and start making deliveries in an hour, if they're on Shopify. So
That's amazing.
it was a lot of heavy lifting, to get that one right, and we worked with, a couple of different consulting experts who really made that possible, and also made a significant new hire internally that really helped and drive that.
Amazing.
And then the third was an instant delivery portal. So we know that integration is can often lead to, well, what other systems or what other priorities are in place. So we developed a no integration solution to help any retailer be able to get something from A to B without any integration needed. So anyone can go to Shipsy.com, sign up for an instant delivery account, and they can send things within a certain radius to and from. So think about a small shop or concierge service. If customers are calling, texting, emailing their orders, the only thing the store associate would have to do is enter the delivery address of the customer, and a driver would show up at the dedicated time. So now we're using that as an interim solution as we're doing a larger integration, for example.
Amazing. That's really
Mm-hmm.
awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
I love that. I think, can you think of an ideal small or medium-sized business that you serve somewhere in the country and give me an example of like how this works for our listeners so they can truly
Mm-hmm.
understand, like visualize this in their everyday life?
Mm-hmm. So let's say I'm gonna make one up. Let's say you have a wonderful plant shop in New York because you
Okay.
have so many lovely plants in your background.
Yes.
Lawrence Plant Shop.
Lauren's plant
So
shop. Here we go.
started in New York, small boutique. Not as many people are walking around New York or window shopping, right? So you're trying to figure out a way. Maybe you are doing podcasts or webinars on how to take care of your plants.
Right.
And you have an online site where you sell various plants,
Right.
large and small. So your customers within the New York area or within a 15-mile radius of your store shopping on your website would see Shipsy delivery appear next to 10-day or 5-day overnight. They
Okay.
would see Shipsy appear at checkout, select Shipsy. You as the store would get a pick pack time, how long you need to, I don't know, make a bouquet or get the plants ready. And
Yep.
then a driver would show up at a dedicated point in your store and say, I'm here for Shipsy order number 111. And you would give them the goods. And then they would make the delivery to the consumer. And then let's say it's a big bouquet
Yeah.
or trees or something. So
Yeah.
we would send a larger truck or, maybe a regular car for a pretty bouquet of flowers.
That's
Um, yeah,
so great.
yeah.
So what you make possible really is for the small and medium-sized business to have this local delivery option
Mhm.
that's just a lot more feasible for them, essentially, right?
Yeah,
Very
and paying the same as they do for, let's say you allocate $8 in your FedEx for regular packages today.
yeah,
Maybe you have some candles in your shop or something. You can allocate that towards the cost of the delivery for the consumer. So if a delivery is, I don't know, let's say $7 and you already have $8 allocated for FedEx, you can choose to contribute towards the cost of delivery for the consumer. So it's no additional cost for the consumer, no additional cost for the retailer, provided you're, capturing and monitoring it appropriately. And we help coordinate and facilitate and give recommendations on that.
yeah, that's amazing. I love it. I
Mhm.
love it. I love the innovation of the model. So it's
Yeah.
incredible.
Well, thank you. The other thing your consumer would get is a notification real-time tracking. So if they want to see where the order is, or
There
it's
it
just
is.
like if an Uber comes up on, you see he's 2 blocks away. It's
Yeah,
a Shipsy white labeled basically across all of our delivery networks so that your
Uber.
consumers are notified, and they can check on the order anytime they want.
It's amazing. I can't keep plants alive, so I won't ever have a plant shop. But for those that do, they have a great method of delivery, and their consumers will get text updates. So that's
Yes. Yes. We all aspire.
I
We can
aspire.
all
Yeah,
aspire.
someday. Um,
Yes.
okay, so prior to this call, we were just talking about what it's like, just building a team, getting things done. And you mentioned something about the big three. You also mentioned
Mhm.
earlier in the call, and just talking about how to move forward when you have lots of decisions to make. Can you
Mhm.
tell us a little bit about that process and how it's looked for you and your team?
Yeah. Well, one, I think to almost preface it, there is such an opportunity to turn weaknesses into strengths.
Mm,
I'll give an example. When I was first in sales, I knew nothing about asking people for money. Like I knew that I had to find out if they had budget for what I was selling, but I didn't know how to talk about that. So, the way that I got around that was becoming really, really good at putting together a business or financial case to justify the spend.
mm,
Well, if we improve cart conversion by 13%, if we have a median average order value of 17% across our customers, here's what that would look like for your business. And so I think even the first part of it is, where are the weaknesses, or what are the things that are not really within your skill set, and where do you fill those gaps, and how can you fill those gaps with hiring someone, or maybe it's an outsourced project basis. So I think that's even the first part of making any really decision. And we have so many decisions now, it's almost, and everything is decision paralysis
yeah,
in the world that we live in now. So I think even before thinking about those, it's what gaps are you solving internally, externally, personally, professionally? Like, where are those gaps?
yes.
And then once you've identified those, and that's like just a continuous process, right? Like I'm trying to remind myself of that constantly,
Yep.
as the team evolves and people grow and expand their own strengths.
We talk about
Um,
that so much, the gap analysis. It's like you have to
yeah.
build it into your system on every
Mhm.
level of life, right? Like you said,
Yes.
personally and professionally. It's almost like
Yes.
weekly if you went through and said, okay, where are my gaps? Let's
Yes.
run a quick gap analysis. And then
Yes.
what you're talking about is how to bridge those gaps, right?
Hmm.
Yeah,
Hmm. I love that. We should do our own one-on-one weekly gap.
you should. I mean,
One-on-one.
everybody needs it, right? And
Yeah.
especially in your environment too. It's so fluid and there's so much growth that there is a need for a constant gap
Yeah.
analysis.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Good.
Um, and then I think once understanding that, it's really about a 3 by 3. So as I was recommended from a friend quite a while ago, they said, I feel like you always, every day, you have these like, you know, exactly what you're doing or exactly what's next on deck. And um, I had realized that I was doing something in my professional life that I hadn't done in my personal life. So now I say it's a 3 by 3 personally and professionally. But really, what it is what's going to make today the greatest day. If you have like, what are the 3 things that are really going to move the needle personally, and what are the 3 things that are really going to move the needle for the business professionally? So I literally, I use colored post-its because, or
Love it.
colored note cards because I'm a big fan of like having something physically in front of me. And so all day I'm staring at my 3 by 3, looking at, okay, these are the 3 most important critical things that I
That's
need to
so
get done
good.
today.
Yep.
Um, and so I mean, I had done that for business, but I hadn't implemented it on my team or mandated people to do it or anything. And so
Yeah.
someone from the team suggested that we do like a collective weekly 3 items for each person on
Nice.
our Monday meetings. And I had shared, I think that I do this with them, and they said, I think it'd be great if we all did that as a team so that we're all on the same page. And I know that this is Brittany's top 3 this week, and these are the things that Samir is doing. And in the beginning of the week, we're setting the foundation of this is the how we're going to drive the business forward this week as a
Yeah.
team.
Yeah.
Um, and so that's been really, really effective. And then we review it. We have a Friday recess, is what we call it, which is more
Nice.
of like
Love that. Recess. That's so fun.
it's more of a, it's kind of the opposite. Like Monday morning is okay, here's the week
Right.
plan. And then on Fridays it's a more casual meeting, and it's not mandatory, it's optional, but we end up getting to know each other as a team individually and collectively a little bit more. And then the last few minutes I'll run through what the percentage of the threes we checked of that week, and then we'll share any wins going into the weekend. So that's been a really, really impactful exercise that we've started to do on the team, and I don't see why we would ever drop it or why I wouldn't do it moving forward with any other business or any other team.
I love that. Have you seen it really help them stay focused if they, they weren't doing it before? I feel like
Mm-hmm.
they are, yeah, just feeling much more organized. I like how it's very simple. It's
Mm-hmm.
easy to implement. It's not an overwhelming system, but
Mm-hmm.
it works and it keeps everybody focused.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah, absolutely. And being just in the startup environment, a lot of times some of those questions wouldn't come up until maybe a weekly one-on-one later in the week on a Wednesday, let's say. So it gets everyone in line out of the gate from the beginning of the week on their priorities. And then if things come up, we can talk about them or digest them. But it's kind of the expectation that you're going to bust your ass and do everything you can to get those 3. And if you
Yep.
need my help on something, then let's talk about it or let's figure it out together.
So good. I love that. I think that's something
Mhm.
that everyone can apply immediately, with their
Mhm.
teams and for themselves. And also personally, I love how you said that, you've done this professionally, but not personally as well. And all of this is really tied together because if we don't take care of ourselves, like that often
Mhm.
bleeds over right into our professional lives, right? So
Mhm.
doing this for all of the different buckets is so important. So I love that you
Mhm.
said that. That's really good.
The the other thing that I have found with it is it makes things less of a big deal, I think, psychologically. For example, call my grandmother once a week, right?
Yeah.
It's when you don't do those things, or call an old friend this week. Like it's not even, I think we boil these things up where you think about an old friend that you haven't talked to in a long time. It's like, oh, it's been so long. Oh, now it's been longer. Oh, it's been longer. It's like,
Yes.
if it's on your list, it's probably like some of those things are going to take less than 5 minutes. And then you don't have this kind of um,
Angst.
nagging or angst about it. Really,
Yeah,
yes.
it's angst. So true.
And if it's just a quick 2-minute check-in, hey Graham, just want to say hi, hope you're having a good day. Like, oh, I have to run to a meeting in 2 minutes. I'll talk to you later. But like, at least you're making those touch points um, in different areas.
Yeah, I love that you're doing that. That's amazing. So tell me about the future of Shipsy here as we close out. So where is it going? What are some of your goals and what you guys are focused on, as much as you can share for the
Yeah.
future here?
So there is a lot of exciting things. Really, last year we focused on the automation and really the stabilization of our platform and making sure that we could scale to anyone and everyone, regardless if they were a 1,000 store retailer or a small brand on Shopify.
Yeah.
And this year we're really thinking and really working on a lot of interesting partnerships. So we sit in this unique area within the supply chain where we touch so many parts and pieces of a brand or retailer's just overall technology stack. So we're focusing on how do we make additional partnerships that are value driven for both of us that also help support our mutual customer.
Yeah.
So if it is a warehouse that one of our customers uses, if it's their inventory management, let's integrate with them. And so we're really focused on how do we make it even easier and even more simple for our retail and brand partners to get up and running or to add kind of these connectors, if you will, Shipsy connectors to things through partnerships. And then the partners see it as, it's a true differentiation. If your warehouse can offer something within an hour for the same cost as you do FedEx, you're probably going to get more business. So, we're fortunate when our hand is in the pot that everyone else gets incremental value associated with it. So
Yeah.
we're really focusing on partnerships, really focusing on some of our key points of differentiation, like large and small capacity items.
Nice.
And then continuing really to hone in on the retail focus and retail strategy.
That's so great. I love the partnerships piece particularly. I work, with the entrepreneurs that we work with. I'm always talking with them about collaborations and using that ecosystem, right, of brands and
Yes.
potential partners that surround them and opening up their lens to how they can create and offer value with those partnerships.
Yes.
It's gold. It's gold.
Yes.
Like if we
It
can
is.
realize that, develop a strategy around that, and leverage those partnerships, oh man, like the sky
Yeah.
truly is the limit. I really believe that. So
It's like an endless network effect.
it is. It absolutely is. I think it's actually the key to
Yeah.
successful strategies. So that's amazing that you guys are in a place now where you're leveraging
Yeah.
those partnerships.
Yeah. It's been really exciting. And there's a lot of interest from very diverse supply chain providers.
Cool.
Ones that I didn't necessarily anticipate that'll email me something like, oh, I think we could partner on this, or let's do a Shipsy chatbot integration, or, like alternative things that,
Amazing.
I just wouldn't necessarily even think of. And really we see the new environment and this huge digital shift,
Mm-hmm.
and providing Shipsy is a no regret strategy. To being able to not only survive, but really to thrive within today's turbulent retail environment.
Yeah, and then there's another point. I mean, it brings new ideas to the table. So things sometimes that we may not have thought of, brand partners can bring these things to light, because they're viewing it from a different angle, from a different lens. So when we can take all that in, it can only make it, it can only make it better. So that's really
Absolutely.
cool. I love
Then
that.
we get to our decision paralysis.
Yeah. Right. Then you have to start all over again with
Yes.
those gap analyses that you're going to be doing. So you're going to have to move it up to 1 an hour.
Yeah.
New ideas.
Yes. Back and forth. Well, that's what good mentors and advisors and industry experts are for, to bounce some of those off of.
So true. Well, Chelsea, thank you so much for taking the time to be with us today. It was so great to have you.
Yeah.
Loved
So
it.
good to see you. So much fun. Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.